If you work at a desk, you've probably pictured it. A wave of automation creeping into your industry, turning complex tasks into instant outputs. There's to have no role left. Economists call this the lump of labor fallacy. It rests on the assumption that there is a strict, finite amount of work available in the world, and that any task a machine takes is a task a human loses forever. Looking at the history of technology, that assumption has never held true. This graph compares two labor models. The hype narrative assumes demand stays constant as technology improves, but economies are expansionary. When AI increases the supply of labor, the cost of production drops and demand stretches to absorb it. Let's look at the mechanics on the historical narrative line. As AI reduces the cost of producing a service, it lowers the barrier to entry. This activates a massive layer of the market, millions of new buyers who wanted these services for years, but were priced out by the high cost of manual labor. In other cases, AI collapses operational costs so thoroughly that entirely new service models become possible for the first time. These are categories of work that were once operationally non-viable at scale, creating a surge of net new demand. This leaves us with a practical problem. If artificial intelligence will eventually execute technical tasks for pennies, what specific skills should you invest your career capital in right now? Surviving this transition requires stepping away from routine execution. Success depends on positioning yourself exactly where expanding economic demand meets irreplaceable human necessity. Of course, this raises an immediate question. If AI gets cheap and smart enough to handle this newly expanded demand, why should humans remain part of the process? That assumes labor demand is based entirely on technical capability. We need to stop asking if the AI can perform the task and start asking if the client will actually accept a delivery that lacks a human interface. Many roles exist because of the market's requirements for how a service is delivered. This is the human premium, the economic value that remains attached to human involvement, even when the software can do the underlying work. This matrix outlines the market expectations that protect human labor. Clients assign value to continuous relationships with providers they know. They demand a physical, embodied presence for services like physical therapy, and they require trust, the social proof of a real person validating a path forward before they act. There is also a premium on accountability. People want a human to sign off on a high-stakes decision, so there is a clear chain of liability. Then there is translation, turning messy desires into precise AI constraints. Finally, we have behavior change and provenance. Most of us listen to a human coach who holds us accountable, and the market pays a status premium for goods with a verifiable human signature. Because of these constraints, a small business owner or medical patient will often reject a 50-cent automated service if it lacks these premium human elements. As the cost of raw data processing drops toward zero, the market pays a high margin to humans who validate and humanize that output.
The human premium is the ultimate career moat. To see how this works in practice, look at professional services for small businesses. Right now, a local business might not have $5,000 for a marketing and analytics package. But if AI allows an agency to deliver that same quality for $500, a massive long-tail market of millions of small businesses suddenly becomes active for the first time. Even at a 50-cent price point, the business owner won't use the AI themselves. They lack the time and patience to act as the technical translator between their business goals and the software. We see an even larger shift in healthcare, where AI makes entirely new care models viable. This flowchart tracks how AI enables continuous care. Right now, medicine is mostly reactive because constant observation is too expensive for most patients. But as AI collapses the cost of data processing, a 24/7 preventative monitoring model becomes possible. While the AI is excellent at detecting technical deviations in data, it cannot navigate a patient's fear, manage complex family dynamics, or provide the empathy required to change a patient's lifestyle. To turn a wave of raw medical alerts into actual outcomes, the system requires a new layer of intermediaries, human care navigators, who bridge the gap between machine data and human action. Consider the math. If 40% of American adults enroll in this monitoring, and we assume one navigator manages a caseload of 100 people, the market would require 1.2 million of these professionals. To put that in perspective, that is roughly the same number of high school teachers currently employed in the United States. New job families are emerging to provide the management, filtering, and human context that raw machine output cannot offer on its own. So, how do you map these shifts to your own career? We can categorize these new roles based on your specific professional strengths. This decision tree maps the new economy into 3 primary paths: empathy and interpersonal skills, systems and logistics, or deep domain expertise. If your strength is high emotional intelligence, your path leads to roles like navigators or continuous support workers. You guide people through complex AI-monitored systems where the relationship is the primary value. If you focus on process, you fit into the AI-augmented service operator family. You will use automated workflows to deliver high-quality, lower-cost professional services to 10 times your current client volume. Also under logistics, if you are operations-minded, there are data ops and QA specialists. You act as the institutional safeguard, ensuring the data flowing through the AI is secure, legal, and verifiable. For those with deep domain expertise, you become an escalation specialist. You handle the most complex, high-risk cases that the AI and lower-level navigators cannot resolve. The true risk in this market is a failure of perspective. If you continue to view AI merely as a competitor for routine tasks, you're entering a race to the bottom on price that you cannot win. To future-proof your career, you must move beyond the logic of routine production. Your goal is to become the high-margin interface between an infinite supply of AI and the rapidly expanding human demand for